Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Josh, aka Bean Soldier TV, and I just came in third at the Remote Duel Extravaganza playing a very interesting deck. Playing Sky Striker Eldlich. I know what you're thinking, what in the world is this? I promise it's the best deck. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get right into it. So starting things off, I play 5 different ways to get to Eldlich, being the 2 Eldlich himself, as well as the 3 Sanguine. So I also play 4 ways to get to Ray, with 3 Ray herself, as well as the 1 Rhoda. So I think this is pretty much standard for the most part, but let's get into the spice. So I play 2 Area 0, as well as the 1 Terraforming to search it out, as well as 3 Eldland. I like to refer to this as kind of the wombo combo of the deck. Resolving Area 0 and Eldland together, it feels like resolving double engage. It has the same feeling. So to kind of explain how it works, so you get like an Eldland search for, let's just say Golden Lord, Area 0 targeting Eldland, and let's say you hit off of the Area 0 search. You dump Eldland gets a dump to grave. You can also use Eldlich effect to then send the Area 0 and special Ray from deck. So if you open the Area 0 as well as the Eldland, you have access to both of your engines very, very easily. So moving on to kind of the disruption of the deck, or the board breakers of the deck, I play the 1 Afterburner and 3 Conquistador. These are some of your main disruptors in the deck. It's almost like you're playing 4 Afterburner, 3 of which don't target and they're quick play. So moving on to kind of the banishing portion, since the meta right now is very banish oriented, we have the 3 Shark Cannon, 2 Haquero, 3 Ice Dragon Prison, and the 1 Called By. Every single one of the banishes has its own niche interaction, with Called By being able to negate things in grave for the rest of the turn with the same original name, Ice Dragon's Prison being able to remove bodies from the board as well as banishing things on grave, Haquero being able to banish anything, especially being spells and traps. So in a Drytron matchup you can banish a Meteonis, or in a Virtual World matchup you can banish any other spells and traps, is really, really important. And Shark Cannon being able to banish monsters but also act as 3 extra monster reborns, and Ice Dragon's Prison kind of does the same exact thing too. For the rest of the striker spells, we play 3 Widow Anchor. This is a great card to help finish off your games, as well as help you link climb into stuff in the extra deck that we'll get to in a little bit. And we also play Widow Anchor 2.0, being Forbidden Droplet. This was by far one of the biggest MVPs of the entire Extravaganza. I won 1 die roll the entire Extravaganza. Droplet was insane. This deck in particular doesn't necessarily have a hard matchup with things like VFD, with Vanity's Ruler, but it does have issues outing things that can't be targeted. So Droplet is a fantastic way to out things like a Dragoon, or for example, I had an issue dealing with an Avermax that was made with IP. Droplet's a great way to deal with that. And another MVP of the entire tournament being 3 copies of Solemn Strike. This was awesome, even going second in helping break those boards, helping negate things in grave, stuff like that. So Strike was absolutely phenomenal for me. Going to, I guess, more of the sacky one-ofs. Multi-roll. If you open this, you're an insane striker player. We also play Foolish Burial Goods. This is my 39th card, just to add some additional consistency. This is a card you typically saw in a striker list to send any type of striker spell, or to send a Metal Foes Fusion, but we're not playing Metal Foes Fusion. It's just to get any spell in grave or to start your Eldlich plays. And the one card that a lot of people did not see coming, Card of Demise. If you noticed, we're not playing any hand traps. Every single card you draw off of Card of Demise is going to be gas. So if they don't ash this, you just went +3, or at least +2. And if you dump any of your Eldlich spells and traps, that's fine. You can kind of sculpt your field based on what you draw off of Demise and what you need to get both of your Sanguines and your Golden Lance in rotation. As far as the extra deck goes, I mean, obviously we have the Striker package with the Hayates. There's not much spice here. 3 Kagari, 3 Shizuku. Again, everything standard. The 1 Kaina, 1 Zeke. Believe it or not, Kaina did not come up once in the entire tourney. So I don't know if it's worth cutting, but just to get a little bit of extra deck space. But it just didn't come up. Zeke 100% came up. Moving on to generic links, we have Nightmare Phoenix. This is just a great generic link to, like, kind of what some Zoo Eldlich players with Link Spider play, just to get a trap off the field. Nightmare Phoenix is a great way to do that as well. So because we're playing Eldlich, you can get into BLS really easily. BLS with Striker and Eldlich back row is terrifying, especially since it can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, and it just banishes without targeting. It's insane. Because we have all of the Striker package with Shark Cannon, Widow Anchor, you're able to get into access code really easy, close out games. And access code with any Link 3 and Eldlich is, what is it, like 8,800 damage? It's an OTK. And you play so many different attributes with your Striker links that you can easily clear a board. And the last card, which 100% came up, especially against Dinos, is Zeus. So the theory behind this is Striker used to play Dingirsu back when Orcus was one of the best decks. So there was Shark Cannon to Galatea so that you could overlay a Dingirsu and get a free non-target send on their field. So the same thing kind of happens with Zeus, where you can steal your opponent's Xyz with Widow Anchor, attack with it, and then in main phase 2, put a Zeus on top. That's awesome. Especially against Dino, this came up and sent away their entire field. It was incredible. Would not cut this card. So as far as the side goes, there's a lot of spice. There's a lot of spice. So starting things off, we don't have a whole lot of issues dealing with back row matchups in general, but being able to clear 4 to 5 back row, I'm never going to say no to that. It's just a phenomenal card in general, and it can be a blowout. We also play Raigeki. I don't have any Lightning Storms, but with so many things being in defense position in general, and us not caring about dealing with any back row matchups, Raigeki is just as good as well. We also play the 1 Pankratops. It synergizes with Striker really well, since you can clear itself on the board. You can still activate your Striker spells and Striker traps. So we also play 3 Round Boy, because we just Special Ray instead of normal summoning it. And even if we don't have Ray access, you just tribute their entire board and set 4 back row, and they're not going to be able to play through that. I did this to Dino, I did this to Drytron, and it won me matches, for sure. So, moving into more stuff on the side, this is where the true spice begins. We play 2 more Foolish Burial Goods to send 2 more side deck cards, and have a better chance of seeing these side deck cards. Can't believe I'm doing this. So, we play 3 Mischief of the Gnomes. So, basically, what this card does is, if you activate it on the field, it reduces the levels of monsters in both players' hands by 1. And it has the same exact effect in grave as well by banishing itself. So you can Foolish Burial Goods this to the grave to be able to stop, in particular, Virtual World. They can't summon anything. This also works really well against decks like Phantom Knight, Adamancipator. They can't do a lot of their synchro plays, stuff like that. So this has a lot more niche against decks other than Virtual World, but I cited this specifically for that deck. Unfortunately, I didn't play against any Virtual World, so it just didn't happen. More spice. I play 1 Orcus Crescendo. No, I'm not playing Girsu on the side. I'm not playing Galatea. This card, you can banish from your grave in Search Cycle Reader. It's a dark machine. So you have plenty of ways to get Crescendo the Grave. You can send it with Droplet, you can send it with Eldlich, you can send it with Area 0, you can send it with multi-roll if you draw it. So like, even if you draw it, it's not a brick. You have plenty of ways to get this thing in the grave. So sure, you can't special anything besides dark machines for the rest of the turn, so don't special summon on turn 1. So especially in the Drytron matchup, because they 100% play Lightning Storms, you need something in hand just in case your back row gets blown out to still have a chance. So I hope you guys like the spice in the side for sure. Overall, honestly, this deck is really fun. This deck has a type of play style that I don't think I've ever seen any other deck have, by just manipulating its own board state to gain advantage is a really cool thing. And I think that's why it's so interesting to me, and that's why I played the deck at the Extravaganza. But thank you guys for watching. If you really enjoyed the deck profile, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. I'm doing a bunch of other really cool content on my channel, especially for budget players. I just released a really cool budget deck profile for Orcust, so if you want to check that out. And I also do a lot of sealed only content. But with that being said, thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.